I'm going to mark this for identification. May I approach?
Well, yes.
Showing you what has been marked as Exhibit XX for identification. If I just have a moment. What? Oh, it is already.
Well, not in this.
Yeah.
Not in this format. Oh, no objection, Your Honor. This is already entered in a different exhibit,
Thank you.
in a different format, I should say.
So XX admitted as full.
Does this, then, I'm going to ask, does this contain the communications with Mr. Doulos about setting up the appointment for having your clients meet with him?
Yes,
And what were the dates of the text messages?
5/24. They were all on 5/24,
And that, the meeting was to take place when?
5/25.
I'll just briefly show it to the jury. I realize it was in as part of the state's exhibit, but.
It's kind of hard to see. That should be the one. It just takes a second. It's so hard to see. It's not.
Okay. And again, just so if you look in the screen in front of you or behind you, these are the, I'll wait till it focuses in, Exhibit XX. This is the string of text messages about it between you and Mr. Doulos.
Yes, it's a little blurry, but yes,
And you indicated that down at the bottom, that your clients had a specific budget.
correct.
And was that what's noted here, the 1.1 million billed?
To build, yes,
And that means to build a house with a budget limited to 1.1 million?
correct.
You said that 80 Mountain Spring Road was not within that budget?
No,
It was more expensive than that?
yes.
Thank you, I have no further questions.
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are
Good
you?
afternoon, good, how are you?
My name is Michelle Manning. I represent the state. We've never met or talked.
No.
All right, okay. Just a couple questions.
Sure.
Okay. I actually wanted to ask you a little bit more of the exhibit council just asked you about. You texted Fotis Doulos on May 24th about somebody, a client that's interested? to
Yes.
The property?
Yes,
Okay. If I may just approach the clerk here. Okay, 131. Thank you. Did you work with Fotis Doulos often?
not often, but I did in the past, yes.
Okay. Now, did you have oh, let me just ask you, what was the nature of your employment or, I guess, relationship with him or business relationship with him?
I was not employed by him.
Did you frequently contact him to sell properties or meet with clients?
Not frequently, no.
And on May 24th, was that the first time that you had contacted him for that particular client to see a property or to see 80 Mountain Spring Road?
I don't remember, but I would imagine it would have been, that was the first time I was out with those particular clients.
Okay. If I may just have one moment, Your Honor, the state's intention to show states 131. I think I just have to plug it back in. There you go. And this, do I need to? Yep. Thank you. Now, council showed you some text messages.
Mhm.
If I may just have one moment, Your Honor. On states 134, I'm gonna open file 2 and 3, and actually file titled SMS photos messages. Ma'am, if you can, line 1, do you see the TV in front of you?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you go all the way across here to this column titled Party, do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, right below that, 860-212-7849, is that you?
Yes.
Okay. And the text message here, call me, my client is ready to meet with you to see plans. I want to take him to the home you redid on Mountain Spring as well. Is that your text message to him that day?
Yes.
Okay, and when did you send that?
Would that be the timestamp?
Yes, so that's reflected there, 7:18. Did you send it then in the morning?
I guess so. I
Did
don't
he
remember.
respond right away?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, if I can, I'm gonna actually go down here. Here, did you send him another text message?
I did.
Okay, and that's at 9:02?
Correct.
And that's you as well?
Yes.
Correct. Okay, and it says, call me, my client's ready to meet with you to see plans. I want to take him to the home you redid on Mountain Spring as well. Did you just resend the message?
Yes.
And is that because you got no response?
Probably.
Okay. And did you eventually get a response from Mr. Doulos? Do you recall?
I'm sure I did because
Okay.
we did meet the next day.
And was it later in the day?
I don't remember.
Okay. And she's gonna open the video marked photos messages and just fast forward it to here if I can. And I'm going to draw your attention over here, ma'am. This says the phone call, I think this is the 902 one. That's the second phone call, or I'm sorry, not phone call, text message that you sent, Photos
Yeah.
Doulos?
Yep.
Okay. And over here, it says you sent it at 9:02. Did you get a response after 1:33? Does that refresh your recollection about the time that you sent him? That he responded to you?
That he responded? I don't remember that. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, thank you. Did you also call?
I don't remember that either.
Okay. Either way, you texted him twice that morning and he didn't respond to those text messages?
Yes.
Right. Okay. When you went to 80 Mountain Spring Road on the next day, the 25th? Okay. You indicated you on direct that you didn't go through the entire property.
Correct.
Okay. And what were you looking at?
The finishes, the type of cabinets, the countertops, the millwork.
Okay. And just to be clear, you don't have any experience in criminal law or criminal investigations?
Me?
Objection,
Yes.
irrelevant
No.
to this witness?
Well, the court does not know where that question goes. So,
Goes to her observations, Your Honor, which were directly asked about on direct examination.
well, the previous question had to do with what this witness showed her clients, countertops, cabinets, mill work. Then the next question is, you don't have any,
It's hearsay.
Your Honor, it's Code
Well,
of Evidence 6-5, I'm happy to be heard.
well, first, the line of questioning is, did you ever say such and such to Mr. Gumieni? And the witness's response was yes. The next question, counsel, repeat it, please.
Whether Mr. Kumiani said at any point during the course of that interview that Michelle Tricona said anything of that nature.
And the objection is hearsay.
It is, Judge, and I'm looking at 6-5. I don't see the applicability, quite frankly.
I'm happy to be heard either in or outside of the jury's presence or at sidebar, Your Honor.
Counsel, you will get an opportunity to be heard. The court's not going to foreclose that. The court is just contemplating the objection. The question really is, during that interview, did Pavel Gumieni ever say that Michelle Tricona said anything like what was reported to? That's the question, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the objection is hearsay. Well, Mr. Gumieni, the evidence is already in that he is under an immunity agreement, has been granted immunity, unless he perjures himself, he would have the benefit of that agreement. The question is, did he, who may not have been under the agreement at the time, ever say that Michelle Tricona said something that paralleled what this witness said, Otis Doulos could have said? Overruled.
You can answer that.
The interview was obviously 8 hours in duration, and I, to date, have not had an opportunity to review the entire 8 hours, so I cannot be consistent with saying no. However, I do not recall asking him myself a specific question related to Michelle Triconas.
Do you recall, though, the question is whether or not Mr. Gumiani said Michelle said anything of that nature during the course of the interview?
I'd have to review the entire interview in its entirety to make that determination.
Would you like some time to review it?
Well, the court is not going to give the witness time to review an 8-hour interview. The court understands the testimony to be, first, the witness said he does not even recall asking Mr. Gumiani about Michelle Tricona. So the logical inference is that he cannot remember, or Mr. Gumiani didn't say anything like that came from the mouth of Michelle Tricona.
May I ask that question, Your Honor?
Yes.
Do you recall whether Mr. Gumiani said that anything like that was said by Michelle?
I don't recall that.
At some point, the interview ended,
Yes, ma'am.
and at the end of the interview, did you encourage Mr. Gumiani to reach out to you if he thought of anything else or had anything else to say to you?
Yes, typically at the end of an interview, we'll still afford, anybody that's present our contact information to reach out to us should they have additional questions or concerns or information.
And do you remember whether you did that in this case?
Yes.
Did Mr. Gumiani reach out to you at any point from that interview date in July of 2019 to January of 2024?
No.
I have no further questions, thank you.
No questions, Judge.
Sergeant, you may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, can we approach for
Yes.
logistics for a minute?
Yes.